Welcome back to Stop.Drop.Play. My name is Francisco, and today I continue my playthrough of Ghost of Yotei in the hopes of uncovering whether or not Ghost of Yotei is, as I've suspected, just Ghost of Tsushima 1.5, or if it's an experience that can truly stand on its own. In episode 1, we established the foundation of the story, met Atsu, and got an initial feel for the world and its combat systems. In this episode, the focus shifts towards deeper exploration and early progression. I spent time moving through the open world, trying out side activities, completing bounties, and seeing how the game rewards exploration. From there, we advanced the main storyline, uncovered a major revelation connected to Atsu's past, entered a new zone, and unlocked a couple of new weapon styles. This episode also begins and ends our pursuit of the Oni. The second member of the Yotei 6 Atsu is after setting up the next major arc in the story. Having played through the first hour of the game, I was very eager to get into the main bread and butter of the experience. Picking up right where I left off, I left the inn only to be greeted by one of the samurai from Clan Matsumai.
Clan Matsumai has received reports of a disturbance at this inn.
I took care of it.
We have been entrusted with stopping Lord Saito and his outlaws.
Then why weren't you here?
You should watch your tone, Wanderer.
This samurai was investigating the disturbance at the inn, trying to establish that Clan Matsumai are the ones that keep order in these areas. Atsu brushes the samurai off and goes on with her life. Immediately after, I meet Kojiro, who is the bounty broker. He introduces us to the game's bounty units, which are posted on bounty boards in the various towns we visit across the game. With some decent monetary rewards being offered for each bounty, I set off to find and defeat them. The bounties were short, sweet, and to the point, with each of them offering a decent yet manageable challenge. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about how the game handles finding these bounties. Each bounty comes with a description of the target and where they may be located. And when I first saw this, I thought we'd have some Witcher level investigations to do. But the reality is you simply get to the general area, which is automatically marked on the map, look around for a bit, find them, fight them, rinse, repeat. I would have liked it more if the game made us think just a little bit more when searching for the targets, but I do appreciate how short and sweet these hunts are. The same can be said about open world side quests and activities. Throughout my time in this section of the game, I found various different types of activities: bamboo stations, hot springs, drawing, cooking, and they're all short and sweet. When you look at how these as a whole contribute to the moment-to-moment experience, it's great. The map is not riddled with markers and icons. Instead, I found most of these organically just roaming the map, being guided occasionally by some birds and the wind.
It's dangerous traveling alone.
That it is, friend.
Get her!
But when you look at these activities under a microscope individually, a lot of them are just bland. The drawing, cooking, setting up camp, all of these really want you to use the DualSense motion and touchpad. It's cool the first time, I guess, but after a while, it gets old. It reminds me, ironically, of infamous Second Son and how that game really wanted you to use the motion controls of the DualShock 4. It's a gimmick for sure, but at the very least, most of these can simply be skipped to completion. Now, one area where the game excels, much like Tsushima did, is in the random encounters. Of course, I ran into Sato's soldiers all over the map, more often than not prompting standoffs, which are still excellent every single time. Sitting there, holding the katana, waiting for your opponent to make that first move. This is such an incredible opener to any fight that I made it a point to invest into the skill that allows for follow-up kills just to give me a bit of an edge in fights. In addition to that, Atsu also has a bounty on her head. And this isn't just a narrative device, it's an actual mechanic you have to contend with as you play because bounty hunters will come after you.
Wait, that's her! Over there!
Looking for me?
We're looking for your head. There's a nice price on it for killing the snake.
This comes in a few forms from what I've seen. Bounty hunters being straightforward in their approach, questioning passerbys as to my whereabouts, or even setting up ambushes. And I love it. I love that feeling that I'm never truly at peace exploring in this game. It also helps that the combat in Yotei is exceptionally fun as well.
Yotei 6
what you dare! Prepare yourself! I surrender.
Talk.
After I finished my first bounty, I made my way to the dual katana master, and I figured I was in for a long, dragged out quest to unlock this stance. But what I got instead was something a lot more meaningful and not dragged out, which was a surprise. We meet Hanbei and find out that Kengo, Atsu's father, was a friend of his. She brings him up to speed on what happened to her and asks that he train her. He's reluctant at first, but of course we end up getting trained anyway. The training focuses primarily on strengthening Atsu's left arm to match the strength of her right arm. This is achieved via coal and bamboo cutting, and the way the game translates her weaker left arm into the gameplay itself is kind of brilliant. The button combinations and timings were absolutely ridiculous, and it really made me feel how much weaker her left arm was compared to her right arm. As we approach the end of the training, we get a flashback to the day that everything went wrong. Atsu and Jubei were picking mushrooms in the woods when a mysterious man approached them. This man saves the two from a wolf, and Atsu offers to have her dad sharpen his blade. As soon as the group arrives at their home, things just go south. Fast.
Wolves and samurai. What happened to picking mushrooms?
Don't worry. They found plenty of those.
Oh my lord, they know what's up.
You have a beautiful home.
Children, let's go inside.
No. Is that any way to greet an old friend?
We are not friends.
Your lord, then.
When Saito fell, you're nothing but an outlaw now.
Is that what you tell yourself? Your father is a deserter. He abandoned my clan and infected others with his cowardice.
You were raiding villages.
We needed food! Do you know how many starved?
Oh, dude.
Family. I lost.
It turns out Saito and Atsu's parents have a complicated history. But before we see more, the game takes us back to the present. We complete our training and unlock the DualSense katana stance, which is pretty freaking cool. With this done, I made my way toward another bounty target, Muneji the Bone Crusher. Going into this, I thought this was just a normal bounty hunt, but it turns out that Muneji's kind of important to Saito, and taking him out meant reclaiming that camp. The fight against Muneji was the first of several instances where the combat begins to show cracks in its foundation. Attacks can come out quick, like really, really fast, and if you're not prepared or if your timing is not right, you will get punished. Ghost of Yotei also believes in strength in numbers, except the numbers are always thrown at Atsu. Having to manage multiple mobs makes combat both engaging and at times frustrating. The frustration really comes due to the lack of a typical targeting mechanic, so having to manually use the camera to keep everyone on screen becomes absolutely critical. This isn't normally an issue, but in tight areas or corners, different objects can block your view, and that usually leads to being open to an attack you do not see coming. Admittedly, these instances are few and far in between though. I took Muneji down, or so I thought. He calls in reinforcements and, wouldn't you know, they can revive him, or rather free him, if you don't keep his guards away from him. This added some urgency and decisiveness to taking down the guards quickly while keeping others off of Muneji. It took a few tries, but ultimately, Muneji was defeated. Learning that one of his camps has fallen, Saito is not happy and demands that the Onryo's head be brought to him.
Clan Matsumai call themselves the protectors of the North. But this land is ours, and we will defend our home. What is it?
One of our camps has fallen. They say it was attacked by an Onryo.
A ghost. That woman is flesh and blood.
Of course, my lord. Only the people believe otherwise.
The people believe what they are told. When you call her Anyo, you evoke something greater than a single woman. You give her power.
He's right.
It has taken years to gain a foothold in Ezo. Every camp we lose gives the Matsumai ground. Bring me her head, not excuses.
At this point, I make my way to Ishikari Plain, the next region in the game where I would find the Oni, the second member of the Yotei 6. But before we do that, I needed to try something out. Watanabe Mode. Now, I'm sure I'm probably butchering the name, so please forgive me, but Watanabe Mode changes the game's soundtrack to a lo-fi mix that was created under the direction of Shinichiro Watanabe, known for his work on one of my favorite animes, Samurai Champloo. Of course, I had to check this out. My channel is new and nowhere near being monetized, so please enjoy this next section, because oh my god, this shit is great.
Stay away from Saito and his men. Nothing good will come of it.
Seems upset. I will kill it first.
The lo-fi really adds a new flair to the game, and I absolutely loved it. However, I want to take in my first playthrough of Yotei in its original form, so I ended up switching back to the original soundtrack instead of Watanabe Mode, even though Watanabe Mode is absolutely awesome. I made my way to Ishikari Plain thinking everything was going to be smooth, but of course, that ended up not being the case. It turns out that I need a permit to enter the region. Thankfully, prior to even learning this, I made a charitable donation to this fellow here in need, and in return, he hooks me up with a permit. The samurai, being suspicious of me, of course, has to go and verify the legitimacy of the permit, and this, of course, takes a very, very long time. Eventually, a samurai caravan rolls through with what appears to be one of the leaders of Clan Matsumai leading the way. The gate opens up for them, and finally, I'm allowed to pass through, and as I make my way through, the leader stops me.
Hold it. You forgot this. Without it, I would have to arrest you.
You could try. We don't get a chance to really speak much because this checkpoint is immediately attacked by Oni raiders. We make quick work of the raiders and find out that the reinforcements never made it to defend the checkpoint, so we set off to find them. We arrive at a point where we find several dead horses and determine that the reinforcements were ambushed and taken prisoner. We find some footprints and follow them in the hopes of finding them alive. Along the way, the samurai starts asking some questions.
Are you from Ezo?
What's with all the questions?
You just remind me of someone.
You're not my type.
That's not... Never mind.
We eventually find the captured samurai, but unfortunately, we are too late. The Oni raiders set them on fire and the samurai are gone. And we can't let that slide. So of course, we return the favor in kind and deal with the raiders. Once all is said and done, we set up camp. And while talking, the samurai asked Atsu where she got her sword.
Where did you get that sword?
Off a dead man.
Don't lie to me.
He was my father's.
No way.
Atsu.
No way.
It's me. You don't recognize your own brother.
No way. The samurai we've been rolling with this whole time was none other than Atsu's brother, Jubei. And this was an absolutely beautiful and very human moment. The two take some time to catch up and eventually the day ends. And I want to shout something out here that I put in a clip here. I loved how you can actually read the emotion on Jubei's face as he basically puts one and one together and figures out that his sister, whom he thought was dead this whole time, was standing right in front of him. That was beautiful. That was very, very well done. And one thing I will always give Sucker Punch their flowers on between Ghost of Tsushima and also Yotei so far is that they handle these emotional moments with absolute expertise, bro. They are the masters of this so far. It's incredible, and I loved it, and I can't wait to see more of it. The following morning, Jubei escorts Atsu into Ishikari Plain in the hopes of presenting her to Clan Matsumai and having her be accepted by the clan. But of course, given Atsu's way of doing things, it's complicated. We arrive at Ishikari Plain and see that the checkpoint there has been wiped out by Oni raiders. The raiders show up, and we get a boss fight out of it, the Oni Raider Ambusher. A dual-wielding piece of crap. I'm not gonna lie, this boss was tough. Not because he was actually deeply complex, but because neither of my stances counter his dual-wielding. And Jesus Christ, he hits fast and he hits hard. Sometimes I feel like this game may as well be a Souls game because if your parry timing is not perfect against the blue attacks, you may as well just put the controller down and take the L. This fight proved to be one of the toughest ones up to this point in the game so far, and it took me many tries. It had me wondering if I'm just trash or not. And honestly, I'm gonna let you decide. I finally beat this guy and the rest of the raiders, and we make it past the burning checkpoint into the Matsumai camp. And here, we start to see another conflict in the game begin to take shape. Jubei's new life as a samurai bound by that code, and Atsu living the life of the Onryo. No order and no lord to serve. Jubei's commander is, of course, not accepting of Atsu and claims that she is no better than the Yotei 6. The audacity. But he does show gratitude for her avenging his fallen samurai. He pays her and sends her on her way. And before we leave, Jubei tries to reassure Atsu.
Atsu! Wait.
Go back, Jubei.
Give me time. I'll talk to him. Wear him down.
So I can take orders from people who hate me? I'm here for the Oni. To avenge father.
You can't just ride up to the castle. It's suicide. There's a market outside its walls. Start there.
Ready, boy?
And with that, we are now in Ishikari Plain, a beautiful area of the game painted with a sea of red trees and amber-colored grass. An absolutely stunning area. I just knew it. I knew that this game was going to continue to get more and more beautiful. And my lord, it is exactly that. beautiful. I really appreciate when games use a diverse range of colors, and Ghost of Yotei is no exception to that. As I took in the beauty of Ishikari Plain, I made my way to the next weapon master, Takahashi, who would train me in using the Yari. Takahashi was the first to organize a resistance against the Oni, but ultimately failed and went into hiding. Knowing that they both shared a common enemy, he agreed to train Atsu so long as he used his teachings to help Ishikari Plain. And what better way to train with a spear than spearfishing? They both bond over their similar past, and just as quickly as we got here, this training side quest was over. This quest is another example of how great Yotei is at keeping things succinct and to the point. Many games before would have drawn this out into a series of fetch quests and pointless tasks, but here it is an in-and-out experience, 10 to 15 minutes tops. Before we leave, Sensei Takahashi tasks us with freeing a lumberyard and a weaponsmith in order to rebuild his dojo. I added these two to my to-do lists and set off. In an effort to do a balanced amount of main and side content, I decided to take on another bounty, Mad Goro. Except, it turns out that this bounty wasn't a side quest at all, it turned out to be part of the main quest. Mad Goro had escaped the Oni's castle and had stolen the Oni's musket. The bounty demanded that the musket be retrieved with Mad Goro captured alive. Doing so guaranteed being rewarded by the Oni personally. And that's exactly how Atsu planned to get herself into arm's length of the Oni. Some Oni raiders attacked an innocent man at the market looking for information on Mad Goro, so of course we took care of them. However, this guy didn't really have any good information to offer, so in exchange for saving his ass, he offered Atsu one free drink at the sake house. His life was worth only one free sake drink. That is crazy levels of lack of self-worth. I digress. Either way, we sat down and eavesdropped on a few conversations, finally landing on one that was relevant. Just as we were about to get some good information, though, Jubei walks in.
You took my tip to check out the market.
Did Commander Wada send you to keep tabs on me?
He doesn't know I'm here.
Is Clan Matsumai's golden boy going rogue?
Hardly. What have you learned?
The Oni put a bounty on one of his own raiders who stole some prized musket. They call him Mad Goro.
And you think that if you bring him in, you can gain an audience with the Oni?
Those merchants mentioned Oni raiders filled with bullets. Not many firearms in Ishikari Plain. They were about to say where, when you showed up.
Them?
The point.
I can get them to talk.
Jubei buys the two gentlemen some top-shelf sake, and as the liquid poured, so did the information we needed. We needed to make our way to Iwami Village, and just as we were about to head out, more Oni raiders show up. I'm going to go off script for a second and say this. Listen, typically when games continue to throw enemies at you right when something really interesting or cool or pertinent is revealed, I kind of sigh like, oh my god, of course they're going to do something to delay progress. But because the combat in this game is so mother flippin' fun, I love it. I don't mind it. I welcome it. I look forward to fighting anything and everything that I can in this game because my Jesus Christ, this game is so freaking fun to play. It feels so good to slice and dice people into pieces. It's amazing. Anyways, I digress once again, back to the script. This region of the game not only introduced new melee variants of enemies, but a new ranged one as well. Flame spitters, I guess I'll call them. They're like archers. They're easy to dodge and easy to kill, but I thought I'd highlight that Yotei, at least up to now, has done a decent job of introducing enemy variety, though in reality, they're just slight variants of your typical enemy archetypes. We make our way to Mad Goro and to a group of Oni raiders also looking for him. This was the first section of the game where I finally got to try out stealth gameplay. And as it turns out, it appears that everything that took time to get to or unlock in Ghost of Tsushima is already available and possible in Ghost of Yotei for the most part. And speaking of stealth gameplay, it played exactly as it did in Tsushima. It was quiet, cold, and decisive. Using tall grass to mask my approach, I took out as many raiders as I could before scuffing an arrow shot and being forced to take the rest of them out the old-fashioned way. The minute I cleared the raiders, Mad Goro takes a shot at Jubei and Atsu, and this results in Atsu chasing him on horseback amid a barrage of bombs. After the chase, Jubei and Atsu corner Goro at a cliff. Atsu sneaks around while Jubei serves as bait. I reach Mad Goro, and boom, boss fight. Like all other dual-wielding enemies in this zone, Mad Goro hits hard and fast. I couldn't afford to make too many mistakes. Thankfully, I had the Yari, specifically designed to counter dual-wielding enemies, so it made the fight a bit more manageable, but I had to be cautious nonetheless. The fight was quick and short-lived, and within moments, Mad Goro was subdued. But now, things get more complicated.
So, this is the infamous Mad Goro. And our other prize, the Oni's musket. I don't know which one is more distasteful.
Time to meet your master.
What a boring, straightforward approach. Especially considering what I can offer Clan Matsumai.
Yes, we heard all about your rash.
I was referring to information. I know how the Oni Raiders operate, their numbers, where they keep their prisoners of war. Did you think we burn them all? The Oni needs labor to fix up his castle. And you samurai are so strong.
How many?
24, maybe more.
Jubei, he's playing you.
Something about your Matsumai really gets under the Oni's skin. I think you make him long for his glory days, when he was a smooth-skinned hero, not unlike yourself.
I need to bring him in for questioning.
This was always your plan. All that bullshit about getting to know me?
Men's lives are at stake.
Of course, you'd choose your clan over me.
I'm not choosing anyone, Atsu. Give me a few days, and I promise, Mad Goro and the musket are yours. We can both get what we want.
I thought we wanted the same thing. The Oni dead.
And he will be. In a couple of days.
You have 24 hours. Then I'm taking him. And no one, not even you, dear brother, can stop me.
I'll meet you near the Oni's castle.
On one hand, Jubei wants to save his fellow samurai, and on the other hand, Atsu wants to exact her revenge on the Oni. This starts to show a rift between the two, similar to what we saw between Jin Sakai and his uncle. When I think about both Atsu and Jubei's perspectives here, I think the game does a good job of making both sides sensible while introducing a bit of a moral dilemma. If Mad Goro goes with Atsu, Clan Matsumai doesn't get to save its samurai. If Mad Goro goes with Jubei, there's a chance Matsumai will not release him to her, thus making her efforts to get to the Oni a lot more difficult, if not impossible. I know that too many games like to introduce the illusion of choice at moments like this that ultimately result in nothing of true consequence to the story, but I really do wish we would have been given a choice here. Instead, the game chooses for us, and Atsu agrees to let Jubei take Mad Goro for 24 hours, at which point she would come back and get him, with or without Clan Matsumai's support. Before I went back for Mad Goro, I decided to take on a new bounty. The main reason being that the reward was a new set of armor, and one thing I love about games like this is the armor, the drip. Soma the Condemned was a musician, given a magical flute by a demon that allowed Soma to play beautiful music. But it came with a price. The flute demanded blood, and in order to keep it, Soma had to kill. And my lord, did he kill. I confronted Soma, and let me tell you, Soma whooped my ass. This little flute player was no joke, attacking Atsu with a flurry of strikes quick and deadly. And accompanying this beautiful dance of clashing steel was an equally beautiful song. I beat Soma, and his dying wish was to play one last song with Atsu playing her shamisen. This is a really nice moment, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, he was maybe he was just saying, hey, you killed a good job, here's the armor, and you're done. And I think that's one thing that this game has done very well so far. It's the moments, right? Like even the side quest. A fitting end to Soma the Condemned, if I may say so myself, and I'll say it again. Ghost of Yotei has excelled at the moment-to-moment. Any other game, this would not have happened, and the moment his health bar was depleted, he would have simply died, and we would have moved on to the next thing. But I'm finding that Ghost of Yotei packs some level of meaning into every aspect of Atsu's journey. Having beaten Soma, I was given his armor as my reward, and I immediately equipped it, not knowing that it would come in super clutch when I faced the Oni. I freed the lumberyard, helped a Ronin, upgraded one of my armor sets, and freed the weaponsmith, who turned out to be friends with Atsu's dad, by the way, all before finally heading back to Jubei to get Mad Goro from Clan Matsumai, and just as I expected, Clan Matsumai was not willing to part with Mad Goro.
Where is Mad Goro?
Commander Wada refused to release him.
I told you this would happen.
I brought you the musket he stole.
Not good enough. Need someone who will get the Uni's attention. Someone like
You.
Clan Matsumai's golden boy.
Oh, we're about to Trojan horse this?
Absolutely
Yes,
not.
Then bring me Mad Goro.
Atsu, I cannot defy my own clan.
You already did by helping me. By being here now. The Oni killed our father. We have to do this.
If I agree to act as your prisoner, we need to be careful and patient.
Once inside, we wait until nightfall. Then I free you.
And then we assassinate the Oni together.
I'll even let you keep his head. A gift for your commander.
We won't get very far if they recognize you. Check the pack on my horse. There's a mask and some clothes you can borrow.
That you just happen to keep on you?
New armor.
You aren't the only one that knows a few tricks.
The two make their way to Ishikari Castle, Atsu as a bounty hunter and Jubei as her bounty, along with the Oni's musket. The Oni receives his weapon and takes both Atsu and Jubei in. He sends Jubei off to the labor camp and takes Atsu with him for her reward. In his personal chambers, we find Atsu's dad's scabbard, and upon seeing it, we're hit with another flashback of the night where this all began.
No one defies Lord Saito.
We have to do something. I'll go. I'm the son. I'm better with a sword. I can save him!
Where is your sister?
Go find your mother. I'll be right behind you. I promise. My little wolves.
Instead of coin, Atsu asks for the scabbard, but the Oni, who's feeling generous, gives her both and invites her to stay for dinner. And as we wait for dinner, we spar with Kanta the jailer, and while he's down, Atsu takes the keys off of his belt, which will allow her to break Jubei out later that night. which is exactly what we do. Under the cover of night and now armed with our weapons, Atsu sneaks her way to the jail and frees a battered Jubei. Jubei and Atsu make their way to the top of the castle to assassinate the Oni, and once there, the Oni, who had suspected something from the beginning, ambushes the two and sets the whole castle on Jubei and Atsu. Having failed in killing the Oni, the two make a hasty escape and leave. Having barely escaped, the two now stop to gather their thoughts.
One of the Oni raiders said Mad Goro found a secret way out of the castle. We'll question him, and next time...
Next time? Atsu. We barely made it out alive. I defied my clan and abandoned my brothers to follow you.
None of this would have happened if you'd brought Mad Goro like you promised.
We could have saved dozens of innocent lives tonight. But you chose death.
I chose to avenge our father!
Our father would want us to fight for the living! Not sacrifice them for revenge!
Our family was murdered! And all you care about is playing samurai! Where are you going?
You once said we were strangers because of the Oni and the Yotei 6. You were right. I don't know you. And I don't think I want to.
This conversation highlights a few things for me. First, as I mentioned before, Jubei and Atsu are driven by two completely different ideologies, and Jubei in particular, having found a family in Clan Matsumai, is conflicted with Atsu's lust for revenge. Second, Jubei's voice actor does an incredible job of conveying the anger and confusion he feels here, while Atsu's voice actress honestly delivered a dull and emotionless moment. She lacked conviction when arguing with Jubei about their family. Her delivery was cold and almost monotone, and I'm not sure if that is intentional or not, but either way, I think of all the characters that I've met so far, and when it comes to acting, Atsu has actually been the weakest of them all. Anyway, before moving on to the next phase of the main quest, I spent some time gathering the materials needed to upgrade Soma's armor to the maximum level possible, and little did I know this was going to come in handy when I finally face off against the Oni. You see, Soma's armor, besides looking pretty cool, once fully upgraded, comes with a unique perk. Upon getting a perfect parry, a total of 3 counterattacks can be executed, and when it comes to boss fights, counterattacks are critical in building up spirit to heal and staggering bosses to chip away at their HP. The thing is, this comes at the cost of no longer being able to do regular parries in exchange for a bigger perfect parry window, and the 3 counterattacks after the perfect parry. On paper, this sounds great, and it is, but in execution, it led to me dying a lot. With Soma's armor fully upgraded for the drip, I made my way back to the Matsumai camp to get critical information from Mad Goro on how to sneak back into Ishikari Castle. Of course, the Matsumai samurai don't welcome me back in, so I'm left with no choice but to sneak in and bust Mad Goro out myself. And as we are about to make our way out, Jubei comes along like a good little samurai and ruins everything. As Jubei escorts Atsu out of camp, the camp comes under attack by Oni raiders in retaliation for their attempted assassination of the Oni. This attack ultimately results in the destruction of not just the camp, but also the bridge they were building, a bridge that would have allowed for reinforcements to enter Ishikari Plain and take on the Oni's army. With no other options, the two make their way to the northern camp only to arrive and find it under siege as well. Jubei's commander is unhappy to see Atsu, but finally, Jubei stands up for his sister.
She is dangerous, as unpredictable and self-serving as a wild animal. She doesn't belong here.
Yes, she does.
Jubei and Atsu head off once again to find Mad Goro, except this time, it looks as if Mad Goro has now turned to priesthood. After dealing with some bounty hunters and defending Mad Goro, we learn how he was able to escape Ishikari Castle, which will be the way that we get back in.
Beneath the Oni's castle is an abandoned mine that leads to the sea. You'll need a boat. There may be one hiding along the coast nearby.
Maybe.
It was there when I left it.
With this, we make our way to the mine, freeing the laborers along the way and having them join us in the fight against the Oni. Once we make it to the main courtyard, Atsu and Jubei split up. Jubei sets off to free his comrades, and Atsu heads into the castle to kill the Oni. In the 10 hours that I've already spent with Ghost of Yotei, I've had a handful of boss fights. For the most part, they were relatively easy, but the Oni, this guy was an absolute pain where the sun don't shine. The Oni, like most bosses before him, hits hard and fast, except he hits harder. And in some cases, faster. For some attacks, he covers a lot of ground with his extra large katana. His attacks are either the blue glint parry-only attacks or the red glint dodge-only attacks. And as you can see here, one mistimed parry or roll, and it was GG's for me. This is where having Soma's armor fully upgraded really helped me out, and also punished me. As frustrating as it was dying to the Oni time and time again, I used each attempt as a training session, learning the proper timings to parry. And since we're on the topic, the parry timing, at least with this armor on, is absolutely unforgiving, even with the supposed larger perfect parry window. However, when I did manage to pull off a perfect parry, I was able to counter with 3 back-to-back counterattacks, which practically guaranteed a full spirit sphere, meaning I got to heal, and a considerable amount of stagger buildup and damage to the Oni's HP. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that this fight did not frustrate me, because Lord Almighty, it did. A lot. In order to beat the Oni, I damn near had to be perfect. And after numerous attempts, I finally pulled off a close to perfect round. Once I beat him and saw the cutscene kick in, I thought I had won. But sadly, that was not the case. That was just phase 1. Now listen, I'm all for multi-phase bosses, or I was, but after dealing with Consort Radahn for 200 plus deaths in Shadow of the Erdtree, I'm kind of over bosses having multiple phases. At some point, it begins to feel like filler. Yes, it's cool that the Oni chunked Atsu like a sack of potatoes out of the castle. Yes, it's cool that he lit his giant katana on fire. Yes, it's cool that we fought in the rain and I died numerous times again. But was it truly necessary? No, not at all. Fueled by a combination of determination and impatience, I pressed on and took on Oni Phase 2, dying a few times, but ultimately locking in and beating that ass.
Crawl. You are no warrior.
Finally, the Oni is dead. Jubei and Atsu are back on good terms. He heads back to his clan, and Atsu continues her hunt for the rest of the Yotei 6, or rather 4 at this point. All is good. Well, for the good guys. For the bad guys, it's not so great. We see Lord Saito and his sons talking. There are obvious signs of distrust between Saito and his sons, and I'm incredibly curious to see how this pans out, but that will have to wait until the next video. For now, having played a total of 10 hours, 9 more hours since episode 1, I've got to say, Ghost of Yotei is gorgeous. It has a beautiful world that we get to explore and enjoy through rewarding yet simple moment-to-moment activities. The combat, while having some frustrating elements to it, continues to be the absolute star of the show, and the story is on par with what I expected it to be given the quality of what we got in Ghost of Tsushima. The voice acting so far has been great, but I do hope that Atsu's performance improves and becomes more convincing. It's odd, for me at least, to see the supporting characters steal the show in this aspect. All in all, 10 hours in, Ghost of Yotei has shown that though it has some elements that give it its own identity, it ultimately is, so far, Ghost of Tsushima 1.5. And at this rate, about the only thing that can help Yotei stand apart from Tsushima is the story, and only time will tell if that is the case. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes part 2 of my Ghost of Yotei playview. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. If you are, do me a solid. Like the video and comment down below your thoughts on the game, my experience with it, as well as any thoughts on the format that you have so far. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to one another. Peace out.